Hi, welcome to the Daiku podcast and Daiku Game Pitch. Today I welcome Tommy Sunzenauer, a Danish illustrator, graphic designer, and gamebook maker who is here today to share with us the latest creation, Obscure, a tabletop role-playing game inspired by the genre of found footage horror. So that you might have seen in movies like Blair Witch, Outlast, or VHS. So Tommy, welcome.
Thank you. And let me say first, John, what an epic intro you have.
Well, sometimes it's intimidating. You come back from that and you're like, oh, now there's all this pressure to
in
perform.
The bottom it says, you're in the show, everyone can see and hear you. That's intimidating.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us today. And just for those that don't know about you, just tell us where you're coming from today and a little bit about yourself, background, history, and tabletop role-playing games.
Yeah, well, I'm live from a little island in Denmark called Samsø. As you said, I'm an educated graphic designer, and I'm actually kind of new to making role-playing games. I had my debut, I think it's 2 years ago. I made my first book, the Sum book that you can see here behind me. And then I made another game recently that we are actually just sending out at the moment to all the backers, the Goblin Gonzo book I made together with my partner Ricky. And now I'm trying to do my own thing. So,
well, very cool that I'm in Canada, you're in Denmark, and we want to say hello to all of the American folks that might be watching that are celebrating Thanksgiving or the start of Thanksgiving
happy
today.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And I am in Canada. We celebrate our Thanksgiving much earlier because we're so cold up here. Our harvest season is back in October, so we just do things a little bit differently here.
We don't celebrate it at all. So,
well, let's jump right in. Let's talk about Obscure. This is a found footage, as we talked about, horror game. Just tell us what sparked your desire to make this.
I think it was, I actually needed a game that was really easy to pick up and play, and a game that focuses heavily on the horror, something that you could really scare your friends with. I wanted to make something that was just like putting on a scary movie, when you're having some friends over and having a good time with it and finishing it in one evening. So that was kind of the idea. I wanted to make this game a rules light game, so that I didn't want some heavy rules or crunchy rules to get in the way of the storytelling, because Obscure is it is all about telling a scary story.
And you're much younger than me, but how did you kind of get into the found footage horror genre? Did you like find movies on like Netflix or other streaming services that you were like, I love this?
No, it goes further back, actually. I remember when the Blair Witch came out. I think I was like 11 back then, and everybody thought it was real. So that scared the crap out of me back then. And since then, I think recently my interest in the found footage genre just came back to me, because it's this kind of horror movies that works best for me. It's the kinds of movies that puts you in this first perspective, and I think that's very effective, that you can really immerse yourself in it. So I thought if I wanted to make a horror game, I wanted to make it as scary as possible, and since found footage horror is what works for me, I was going to make it that way.
Cool. And I should note to everybody watching that the links to the Kickstarter, which is still ongoing right now, and it's got 7 days left.
Exactly.
That all the links will be in the description below. So get out there and support indie game designers. So you already talked about Blair Witch Project, and before we started recording, we also kind of mentioned that I had previously had Charlie and Barney Menzies on here to talk about their found footage horror film book, which is called Don't Play This Game. And we were just talking about how yours is much different than that in a concept of like role-playing versus that found book.
Yeah, exactly. When I found out that they were making a book and they launched it 1 month before me, I think, I was like, God damn, are they making the same thing as I am? But it turned out that it was their book is a completely different experience. And I played the demo and it's awesome, so go check it out. but it's like a solo game, a journaling game, where Obscure is more like the classic approach to a tabletop role-playing game, where you have a game master and you have a few players, and I will get into the scenarios later, but they also have this more classic approach where you like kind of dungeon crawling, except it's not a dungeon, you know. The game mechanics. Yeah, sorry, Gary.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, so you got your inspiration, and then what was your kind of like spark of like with the game mechanics? Like, what you said you wanted to keep it rules light, and so did you go searching around for rules that would kind of fit this?
Yeah, I actually did, and I already knew about the main inspiration for the mechanics is Tunnel Goons. Since I read that game the first time, I always thought it was a really brilliant idea with you having these D6 dice pools that is your health points, but it's also dice that you can spend to get a higher roll. So it's very easy. You only use one type of die, and it's also like it makes the whole thing very risky, because you have to, before performing a test, or whether it's in combat or you're running away or you're trying to achieve something, you have to decide with yourself, how much of my energy am I ready to sacrifice to make this happen? Because you know it will come back to bite you later on.
And I see there's the custom dice image here. Are those part of the Kickstarter?
Yeah, they are. There's the collector tier, I call it, where you get like this dice bag with I think that's, I should remember this, but I think there's like 12 dice in it. As you see here in the inspired by, I also wrote the Alien RPG because I'm using these anxiety dice, just like they use the stress dice in Alien. I borrowed something from that as well. That's the black dice you see on this image, and that's something that the game master can add to the player characters. So they have to roll these dice together with the normal dice when they perform a test. And if you get a 1, that's the scary face on the black die, things will go south. So
that's cool. And that's one of my favorite games is Ghostbusters. And I think if you look at the roots of that, that's where the wild die kind of came into it, where there's a ghost on one of the dice.
Yeah.
For the Ghostbusters D6 game, but looks very fun. And then so you've got some scenarios that ready to play one shots. Just talk us through those.
Yeah, I have 4 scenarios I'm working on for the book, and as I mentioned before, it is kind of the classic approach to a tabletop scenarios. As you see on these images, there's if you take the bottom one, it takes place in an abandoned insane asylum, and it's like a dungeon crawl. You know, there's this map laid out with numbered rooms on it, and the GM can then consult the tables to see what happens in each room. So it's a very classic approach, and there's a little hex crawl in one of the scenarios. That one takes place in a forest, and then we have like on an American ranch. It's an alien encounter scenario. So I'm working with these classic approaches, but I'm trying to fit in as many of these subgenres from the found footage horror movies. You know, I have an alien invasion. I actually have a Bigfoot scenario, and I have this witch in the woods and a haunted house. So I'm trying to take some of these movie cliches and put them in this game.
And we're looking at some of the drafts of the inside of the book. And is it primarily black and white with splashes of red? Is it like a full color printout, and you're just kind of choosing that as an artistic approach?
It is going to be printed in color, but I will only use the red color. I want it to be printed in black and white.
That's good because it makes it kind of pop. And then you also chose a square format. Was there any particular logic behind that as far as your layout and design process?
It's mostly just because I like the look of it, but it came to be this way because I started out by making some images for the game, and it was mostly like surveillance camera screenshots and Polaroid photos and stuff like that. So those were the square format, and I think that's why I started building it like this.
Cool. And then character creation, you pitch it as it's like a fast and easy. I mean, characters are going to die, or if you want to get playing a one shot, you want to get right into it. So tell us
Exactly.
how fast can they make a character?
Oh, I would say in 5 to 10 minutes. I have a few lists of equipment that you roll for your character, and then from what you get as equipment, you come up with who your character is. So it's like if you carry a camcorder, you're probably a film student or something, and if you're carrying a gun, you could maybe be a private eye or a detective or a police officer. So you roll up your equipment, you roll up how much ammunition or battery you have for this equipment, and then you just name your character, roll up 2 stats, and that's it.
In the
So
in the
it is
playtest
very fast.
in the playtesting you've done, what's kind of do you ever set the tone and the mood? Like, do you like turn the lights way down and like
We did that with only a lit candle lights on the table and creepy background noises and stuff like that. So it's all about setting the tone to get in the right feeling. Now we're at the character creation. There will also be some pre-made characters in the book if you want to get started even faster, that you can either just pick one and play them, or you can draw inspiration from them.
And I did love the equipment that always is like short on battery life, because it just kind of creates that stress right off the bat.
Exactly, and you're very much rely on batteries in this game, because all the scenarios are taking place at very dark places. Like the one in the asylum basement, there's hardly any light at all in that scenario. So if only one guy carries a flashlight or a camcorder or something, the whole group will be very reliant on this person and the battery time. So that's kind of a really important aspect of the game. This thing that you're walking around with your piece of 90s technology and are really reliant on the battery time you have.
And then we talked briefly already about the layout and the artwork, but I think, as you've mentioned or we've talked about, your background is in graphic design. So it must have been fun to like kind of find some of these and piece them together. What was your process in it?
The process is that I'm using a lot of stock photos that I put into Photoshop and draw on them and distort them, like this nice old lady you see as an example here. This was actually just a stock photo of a smiling woman that I completely messed up in Photoshop. And then a lot of the photos, I go outside and take pictures of creepy corners and alleys and stuff like that. And then I bash it together in Photoshop and put a lot of grainy filters and stuff on it to make it look like realistic found footage images.
Well, I think it's you did a really good job, because whatever you've done to her, she looks extra creepy. I think it's so like it's that uncanny valley aspect where I look at her and I'm just like, ugh, just a bit off.
And also the layout. That's a really fun thing about this project. At least it's fun for me. I hope it will show in the final product as well. But I'm actually using an old typewriter from the beginning of the 90s, and I'm using an old scanner to rip up paper and scan it in and get these textures from there.
Oh wow, that's great. So you're not, and I know in some of the stock footage areas you can kind of buy that stuff. So you're doing it like this is handcrafted, a Tommy original, right?
Exactly. As you can see on the top photo here, there you can see some. It's a quote from the Blair Witch Project that I'm, writing on my typewriter and smudging the ink away and scanning it in. I also scanned some objects as well. These are some animal teeth that I found outside and a stick man and stuff like that to make it extra creepy. So there will be a lot of. That's why I call it analog design.
And as far as the GM tools and its license, how did you decide upon this?
Well, it's. I think that to make this game work, I needed to put some tools in it because I want, there's only 4 one-shots in this book. And yes, 4 scenarios is a lot, but you play them in one night. So to give this game some long-lasting... sorry, I got something in my throat. It's really annoying.
No, that's all right. So, I mean, a third-party license is great because then it allows other designers, just like Mork Borg, to come
Exactly,
in and like build a community around it.
exactly. And Mørkborg was what got me going making games in the first place. So I, of course, wanted to give other people the same opportunity here. And then I have these different sections on how you can, at least my approach to how you can make a good scenario for this game.
Cool. And then, as we mentioned, it's live on Kickstarter. There's only 7 days left. And because this was like kind of out of the blue, and I saw it and I was like, this is super cool. But because of that, you didn't have like this big bang at the beginning of your Kickstarter, but it's been a slow burn and building.
Exactly. Compared to my other projects that started off really good and then kind of just fell down, this one is actually the opposite, because I think people need to see what this is and to get some more information about it before they plunge in and bag it. So, but it's very good. I'm very happy for the results so far.
And that's one of the benefits of, say, a platform like Kickstarter, is that discoverability, that sometimes you make a game and it's hard to get traction. And I know a lot of indie game designers watch my channel, and this is a really good example of you putting something on that might not fit the typical mold of a game, but once people are discovering it, they're excited by it, and it's just continuing to grow. And compared to, I've seen other campaigns where they start off like a rocket, and then, like you said, it just like drops off a cliff, and then you're spending 3 weeks going, where's the people?
That's what is happening when you just like when you create something for a product that already has success, then people will automatically be excited for it because this is something new for the game they already know. It's like it takes some more work to get people into something new, I think. So I'm very positive with this, and I think it's awesome. We just hit like 300 backers this evening. Yeah, it's evening here in Denmark.
Cool. Well, like I mentioned before, all the links are in the description below. So make sure that you get out there and you support indie game designers like Tommy, and make sure that he is able to create more in the future, because that's kind of the heart of our industry, is all these indie games that grow into bigger things, and that you can build on as far as a career and keep going. So Tommy, after the Kickstarter, do you have any kind of plans after that? More scenarios, perhaps new different games?
Yeah, I have a few ideas for both new games and expansions. And I have gotten a lot of people are asking if I will do a solo mode for Obscure. So I think I have to look into that.
For sure. Well, that's all very exciting. I wish you the best for the remaining part of your Kickstarters, and make sure you circle back and let us know about some of the newer games that you might have in the queue. So I just want to say, Tommy, thanks for coming on the show, sharing a little bit of your passion for game design. And if you are an indie game designer out there and you want to come on Game Pitch and tell everybody about what you're making, go to daikugames.com/gamepitch. There's a form on the website, and you can just enter your details. And if it's a good fit for the channel, I'll circle back with you and make sure that we get the word out there about your game. And if you go there, just remember, tell them Game Pitch Gary sent you.
Hey friends, are you looking for a game that is not Dungeons or Dragons? Well, we got exactly what you need at Daiku Game Pitch. We got zines, we got OSR, we got adventures. But wait, there's more. We got solo games, we got journaling games, we even got card games and dice games. Oh hell, I don't even know what kind of game this is, but we got it. And if you visit us in the next 2 minutes, you're gonna get all the Zine Quest, Zine Months, Itch Fund and Backer Kits, Kickstarters that you can handle. Visit us at www.daikugames.com and tell them a Game Pitch Gary sent ya.